increase in materials is actually a very small component of the total number.
Well, you know, Alan,
that's the problem with
Anthony. Contractors as big as Tony's got bigger. And again, that's just a number. That's just a plain number. I'm not saying Tony's playing the number. I just don't agree with it. I really don't. I'm speaking to professional people in the same line of work, okay? Now, you know what, Alan? I really, truly believe that this project has to be done ASAP. There is no doubt about it. It's something that is long overdue, should have been a long time ago, okay? I give credit to both you and Mark, because you guys have been on this board for a long time, and the patience that you have, because I've only been on for a year, and I'm totally impatient with this lobby situation. It should have been done a long time ago. I certainly agree with you, and I understand your frustration. There's no doubt about that, okay? But I just think that, you know what, normally I would give in, but this is one situation, and I said when it was first brought up, that I just can't give in, and I wouldn't give a penny more. I really wouldn't. But, after speaking with some people, if to get this job done, if it was going to take a little bit more, fine, but not $280,000 more. I just can't see it. And he could come up with numbers all he wants. I just don't see the numbers, and I don't agree with it. And that's where I stand. And I just don't understand how, from the end of October to the beginning of November, if the job would have started, everything would have been okay. And then from that time to January, a 2-month period, things just went up to $280,000. And I just don't understand. And I just don't feel comfortable right now, especially right now with the situation that it's become down to nickel and dimes, and I wonder where it's going to go from here. And you have to remember that we've already okayed extras already for Tony for his profit and situation with that pad. And the extras that came about with the pad, that didn't go to Tony, but went to subcontractors. But we already gave him his profit that supposedly was supposed to be up on top of that. And this is just, to me, it's just overboard, and I really lost confidence in Tony, and I'm sorry, Tony, I really am.
Okay, Anthony,
I just feel like...
Was you asking to come up for
Anthony! Because of unfair events. I didn't know that you said that. I was worried that
Anthony! Take a breath. Take a breath.
Okay, sorry. But Italian blooded, you know what I mean?
You need some
Anthony,
background.
Yeah.
I'm hearing what you're saying. The biggest problem I have with what you're saying is the fact that you were not here last week when Tony Delano came in and we sat here for 2 hours with him when the facts were laid out. You just weren't here for that conversation.
Excuse me.
And while I hear what
I wish I could have been there, but unfortunately I couldn't make Wednesday, Thursday.
Anthony, I hear you. Okay. I hear you. The problem I have is that what I believe that we're hearing from you is an honest assessment of where you think we are without having the facts. Because you were not here. You didn't hear the components of the breakdown, so you don't know where the increases are coming from. You weren't here for any explanation, so you're just responding to a number.
You know what, Alan? I may not know the particular numbers that you may have been told, but I know that, listen, in the contracting business, I can come up with numbers in hours and time too. And I know this is that and I spoke with contractors, in any job, they all take into consideration that there will be problems maybe occurred with going for permits.
Anthony.
Now tell me this, let's just say the permits would come right away because the town loves us, which they don't, but the permits would come right away and the weather was cooperating, which it was at one point, and the job got done 2-3 months earlier. Would he give them that $280,000 back in our pocket? I don't think so.
We wouldn't have spent the time.
No, we wouldn't have spent the time. We would have been on target.
Anthony, let me use an analogy that I used in anticipation of this conversation, okay? You're a CPA.
Correct.
The client asks you to come in and do a major audit for the company. You anticipate, based on your own experience, that audit's going to take you 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You come into the company and you find out they don't have a computer, everything's done manually, their ledgers aren't intact, and in fact, the project, instead of being 6 months, is going to take you 12 months. And you're sitting in that conference room now for an extra 6 months. Could be you and your staff, whatever it takes to get the job done. Are you telling me that you're going to spend an extra 6 months working for your client for the same money that you originally contracted for?
Well, you know what, Alan? In that case, it's very hard to compare because you know what? When I do an audit, it's done based on hours, which I don't know. and I tell the client that I'm going to bill them per hour based on how many hours they take, which we do not know, okay? But in this...
Wait a minute, stop. But Anthony, I'm
when I
sorry.
engage a new client, the first
Anthony,
thing I do is
Anthony, stop.
find out what type of business they have, how many employees they have, how many checks they write out, and from that, I make an assumption how much I'm going to charge them per month and how much retainer I'm going to take, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you this. There are times when I charge people and I finish it in less time and I actually make more money. But there are times where someone may tell me they have 5 employees, but they don't tell me that you change employees every month, so that 5 employees can turn into 50 employees. And yes, I eat it, Alan. I do. I really do. So there may be times where I make, and I'm making this number up, there could be times where I'm making, $100 an hour, but there could be times I'm making $20 an hour, because I go on the assumption based on what they tell me. And no, I don't bill them on that extra for that hour. But on an audit, which is a totally different basis, which is based on hours, yes. But this job was not based on, we were not saying we were going to base it on how many hours he's working and we're going to pay him.
No, but we are based...
No, it was based on the job. And in that case, yes, I believe it. And most accountants believe it. And this is not an audit where you have no idea how long it's going to take you. He knew approximately how long the job would take him. And that's what he based it on.
Wait a minute, you're right. Wait a minute, stop. You're right.
If it took a rest,
Anthony,
That's exactly the point.
Anthony, you got to stop between sentences and give us a chance to respond to you. It's got to be a two-way conversation. When Mr. Delano sat here, and I don't know if you were on the board or not at the time, there was a representation made as to how long this job was going to take, and then some.
correct.
Okay?
Correct.
But it's now because of the delays in the town, the original changes in the designs, the delays in the town, and the waterproofing, we've tacked on another 5 months or so.
But
And those are not Delano's doing.
I understand that.
So that's what we're here discussing.
But again, he was paid extra. I remember a couple of meetings where we agreed on extras for the pad and for his profit involved in that. Because let's just say we used a subcontractor. I know that Susan was able to negate some of those extras, okay?
Anthony?
But he was already paid for that. Now, unfortunately, I understand that he based it on a certain amount of time period. But again, that was based on when he actually started construction, okay?
Anthony.
Now, starting the pad with a separate subcontractor, the lobbies really weren't done, okay?
The lobbies what?
And so therefore, how can you base on that? Yes, I understand, Alan, that the
Slow down when you speak. You're on a speakerphone.
Anthony, please, first of all, you're dominating this meeting, and there are other people who want, we've been on one subject for 40 minutes.
You know what, it's so hard because it's so hard for me to hear you guys.
Okay, but remember, there are 9 board members here, you're one of them.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is find if anybody else has anything to say at this point.
Sorry about that, okay?
Okay, thank you. So just take a deep breath, please, and relax for a few minutes.
I'm sorry about that. You know, it's also that I'm involved with
I want to say, he's speeding on something. I guess it's the ice or snow. Stephanie.
Okay, well, I had some concerns about this also, from a standpoint of, this is how long it's been. It's been 8 months, and then all of a sudden, we have a $288,000 bill. That bothers me a lot.
Okay.
We should know incrementally what's happening, and as it goes along, as we're incurring additional costs in time or whatever that is with delays. I agree with Anthony's point of, if we started November 1, we would have been fine, but we start January 1, so we're not. I don't think that's actually the case. Correct, but that was the impression everybody was on. We got to get started so we don't have the costs.
Okay.
But
Go ahead. But
on the other side, Anthony,
Okay.
part of this is labor. Your concern regarding the increases in costs are the subcontractor costs, which are $46,000. And from what we understand from Tony, that he had to rebid, which I have to imagine has some component in that because contractors backed out because of the time, which means you're not getting apples for apples.
Well, if he got the rebid, why don't we get the rebid?
What rebate? Well,
no, rebid.
Rebid.
Sure. You know what? You know what, Anthony?
You could do
Wait a
that.
minute. You're right.
Yeah.
Anthony, we
It's our
can stop.
choice.
Excuse me, guys.
Yeah.
Anthony, you're right. We can stop the project. We can put it out to rebid again, and we can start all over again. But question is, do we really want to do that now? And by the way, what will it